Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast. It's a podcast that does interviews with inspirational people like my friend here, Pamela, as well as provides custom content and monologues on topics to help our listeners, that's you, find the resources, tools, and support that they need to be their best inspired selves. So, how are you today, Pamela?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. First, I just want to comment on your beautiful red hair. I have two redheads, so I'm always like, oh, look, redheads. My daughter asked if there is scientific evidence that proves that redheads have tempers, and I have
Hmm.
no idea. I'm looking for the data. So speaking of scientific evidence, which is a really odd transition, but one of the many things that are super interesting about you, um, we had connected in a unique way, but you actually have put together some unique formulations for the market. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah.
You want to share a little bit about like what you're working on and what that even means for people who aren't as smart as you?
Yeah. No, definitely not smart. I'm very persistent, very much a problem solver. It all really started many years ago when one of my kids was faced with a very serious health challenge, and was told that I would have to take care of him the rest of his life. And I refused to accept that answer. And I also refused to check him into the area children's hospital and put him on psychotic drugs. Very scary time, but found it through the other side and am so happy that we did. And I feel an obligation to help and share this with others that I ended up writing and publishing a book sharing that story and how we got to the positive result that we did. Um, as part of that, we not only used Western medicine, but also worked with immunologists, neurologists, natural doctors, and came up with a combination of, I guess the best way to do it is plant and omegas. Omega is not really a plant, but working through those two together to detoxify the body and provide the nutrients that it needed to really help heal from the inside out, as well as find plants that fight against viral, bacterial, and fungal infections because those provide triggers for some underlying things that we all have predispositions towards. So, long way of saying yes, two formulations coming to market, and very excited about sharing that with others, the success that we've had.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I would say necessity is the mother of invention. I have four small people, and one of my children was diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum when she was like 18 months. It was pretty apparent that she behaved differently than her siblings. She's amazing and brilliant and smart and sassy and perfect, exactly the way she is. But I know in our journey to supporting her unique neurology, and we went down a lot of similar avenues. Like our daughter isn't medicated. I don't think that I have no judgment if people do or don't. That's not at all it. But I do find that oftentimes parents who get news that we just refuse to accept that our perfect babies are not going to have lovely lives. So I love that you shared that with us, because I think that that's one of those things that sparks that special superpower you have as a mom, right? That, hey, no, my kid's going to have a life.
Well, yeah, and I'm not against, I'm not against medicine for ADD or depression or anxiety or anything. I just think that when there's so little, it's really important to try as much as we can um, in terms of nutrition, detoxification. There's so many chemicals and things coming at our kids, and their systems aren't necessarily equipped for it. Our environments changed faster than our bodies have. Um, so I think it's important to take a look at as much as you can, for sure.
Absolutely. So our journey was similar. Like I didn't know, but my cousin's son actually was on the autism spectrum. And so she was an essential oils type advocate. And I was like the anti-woo. Like I was like, let's go to McDonald's. I work in tech, woohoo. And modern medicine and conventional, Western philosophies didn't work for what we were needing support on. And you get open-minded really quick. get
Well,
open-minded really quick.
and just because you take one thing doesn't mean it doesn't cause a side effect for another, and then you take another thing for that side effect. And I've talked to so many people that their kids are on 5 or 6 medications, and once you go down that road, it's really, really hard to peel off of any of that. So
Yeah,
just going at it really scary, and it's just very scary. And I recommend going at it slow when you're adding in a lot of pharmaceuticals.
I agree. I had a client of mine, speaking of which, that was her son was on the spectrum, but he was actually born with some other medical struggles. And what ended up happening is like he got addicted to a certain medication they were giving him, and then it no longer became available. Like something came up where they couldn't get it, and the consequences were horrible, just horrible. What this poor 16-year-old young man had to struggle through, and it just, gosh, as a mom, your heart just bleeds for all of these little people who are just trying to live, right? Just trying to live a regular life.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, I'm glad there are people like you though that are making me, going that next step and saying, hey, this isn't going to work. And not just like I was like, hey, it didn't work for me. I found some things that helped us, and I stopped there. And that wasn't um I didn't go to that next step, but you did. You wrote a book in a way to share that with others, and you're now putting together products to like really get out there and help other parents. So that's just so inspiring to me. I don't have that kind of I don't think, for maybe that particular area. So
Well,
how are you getting
I
them to
have to.
market?
Yeah. So sorry, I just have to say,
Yeah.
I I do feel an obligation to share this because I used to stay up late at night swearing to the higher power, please help my child and I'll help humanity. So I have to make good on my promise. And that's this is how I'm doing it.
I love that. Yeah, why not? Help that's there was a friend of mine, very similar but not the same, so it lightens it up a little. They were in a really bad accident, and while they were waiting to be saved by the EMTs, he said, I swear, if you get me out of this, God. And he believed in God. I happen to. I think you believe whatever people want to believe, but so if you get me out of this, I swear I'll never smoke again. And he stopped that day. Like, it was a small commitment that he made, but he made that commitment and he stuck with it. And the fact that you stuck with it, like, good for you. That's so great.
No, thank you.
So where are you in the process then of putting together these, special formulations, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, the exciting part is, the manufacturing is set, the formulations are set. We're at a point now where just need to start working on sales and marketing. And, my background is more in consulting with operations, technology, marketing. And I would love to find any collaborators with an interest or experience in bringing supplements to market because this is something that's new for me.
Yeah, so that's a nice segue. So one of the things that I read about on your website for your other side of your life, your business side of your life, the strategicgrowthllc.com. I was very touched by some of these wonderful testimonials there. Like, one says, Pam is a rare C-suite executive who operates at the nexus of hospitality and technology. And then it goes on to continue to say, like, literally how amazing you are. But, right, there's, we all don't know all of the things. And so you're kind of looking for some support in terms of the sales and marketing, a new supplement to the industry. But what kind of support would you provide as a consultant and coach through your strategic growth company?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with a variety of hospitality companies, technology companies, and then even a couple of health and wellness companies. So that's been very fun. And what I found is that people need support in different ways. And so, it's a lot of companies say this is what we do. And what I have found is that every company is like a person. I mean, there's different elements, and you've got to go ahead and say, look, these are the things that I do and I do well, but I'm also open. For instance, there's one company that hired me to run the marketing team for a short while it was backfilled. And then, I put in a CRM, built dashboard with KPIs. Then they said, hey, do you know how to do a succession plan? Well, people come in as a partner and then an owner in the area business and then an owner in the global business. And I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I did that. Realized that their company hadn't been trademarked after 25 years in business. So I went ahead and trademarked the business. So and then there's another company that I'm going to be coming on board with where there's 3 partners and they've got differing views. And so coming in and setting the annual goals, making sure the budget's set, and then doing quarterly check-ins to make sure that the company is on track for each one of the KPIs for each one of the partners and their subsequent teams. And so, I've got the ability to, as president and COO in my prior life, I've had a variety of experiences both in helping mentor people as well as mentor businesses to drive more revenue and drive more profit. So,
Oh, it sounds like a very rewarding career. And, it also, I don't know, I feel like there's this like pattern, interesting in terms of your child situation and you're like, hey, wait, I'm supposed to help at a bigger scale. And so you went out and you found a solution for that. But very similar to in your coaching consulting business, you used to be a CEO, you used to run other companies, but you're like, you know what, though, I can help a lot of companies with a lot of different things. And so you sort of did that same thing, like, the opportunity to change humanity at the personal level and at the professional level. Uh, that's that's a lot of weight on a one person's shoulders. Are you stressed out like every day?
I tend to go to the gym, first thing in the morning and get my mind clear and just and hit the day with a positive attitude as much as I can. But at the end of the day, I think it's the so many years in hospitality. I just want to help people. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets me going. So.
That's awesome. So one of the other things, so totally unprofessional or not on your professional or your other note, I noticed some of the things that you said you enjoyed doing were yoga, cooking, and spending time with family at like sporting events. So do you have children that are active in sports, or what sporting events do you like to go to?
Well, what I like to go to and what I end up going to, thankfully they align, but both of my kids play hockey. And down here in
Okay.
the States, we call it ice hockey. And what I've learned up in Canada is they just call it hockey because that is hockey. The fact that we have field hockey down here in the States is kind of funny, but yes.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time at the rink.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. So do you cook then and try to bring food to the to the hockey rink? Because
Yeah.
like hockey is really intense though in terms of time commitment, right? There's like traveling and like a lot of
Yeah,
practice.
there is, although it's not quite as bad as when they were doing baseball. So I have to say that, you know, thankfully you're an hour in, you're an hour out. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
yeah.
Well, so our time is almost up already, which if you can even believe it. Would there be anything you'd like to explicitly share with the audience or the listeners in any form, if it's about the book or about the formulations or your advisory company, anything at all?
Yeah, no, if anybody has anything that they would like to, connect with, chat about, collaborate with, I am all ears and would love to do that. My email address is Pamela, Pamela at hellohealthnutrition.com. And I just really appreciate the opportunity and continue to go down this journey.
Yeah. Well, we are going to put in the show notes links to the book, your email, so that people don't have to remember the email address, and also links to your website, so that people that are interested in like kind of the health and wellness side, and any support they might be able to share with you can do that. Or if people are looking for your support in terms of the services you provide. So we want to make sure that everyone has easy access to that and they don't have to write down notes really quick while they're listening. But
Thank
I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy, but I thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.
you, Jackie.
You're welcome.